Aloha everyone, how you folks doing? In this video, I'll be talking about the impact of the missionaries in Hawaii. Okay, now I'm a missionary descendant, and my great grandfather was a missionary teacher. His name was Edward Bailey. I'll talk more about him later. But let's get started. Over the course of a little over 40 years, and that was 1820 to 1863, better known as the missionary period, about 184 men and women in 12 companies served in Hawaii to carry out the mission of the American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions, also known as ABCFM, in the Hawaiian Islands. Now, the Hawaiian Islands were discovered and first settled by Polynesians sometime between 1000 and 1200 AD, forming the modern population of native Hawaiians. The first came from the Marquesas Islands, probably around 400 AD, and then the second from Tahiti in the 9th or 10th century. Okay. Now, Hawaiian civilization was isolated from the rest of the world for at least 500 years. And that is the main reason why there was no immunity from diseases such as smallpox, influenza, etc., because of their isolation. Now, Europeans came later and stumbled upon the Hawaiian Islands, and they say as early as 1555, a Spanish explorer by the name of Juan Gaetano may have actually stumbled upon Hawaii all in that period for 1555. Now there were old Spanish maps, and that's probably what helped Captain Cook find Hawaii. He came in 1778. And as you know the story, that's probably the most documented story in the Hawaiian Islands. Captain Cook came here, and he ended up getting killed. And the main reason, there was a lot of interest. The Hawaiians are interested in the iron and silk and tools and things like that was on the ship. Well, one of the boats got stolen, and Captain Cook used the tactic that it was successful for him and Tahiti, and that was, kidnapping the king. In this case, he took the elder Hawaiian king, and when he went back, he was killed. So that backfired on him. Okay, so anyway, that's the story of Captain Cook, one of the first European explorers to come to Hawaii. Now, the missionaries came later, and they brought disease and other problems. Well, actually, the disease, I should say, first started with Captain Cook when he went to Kauai. His expeditions, they told him not to have sex with the natives, but they ended up having sex with the natives. So that could be the first time that diseases were spread on because they noticed. I'm reading a book now on the history of Hawaii, and those were the first instances where they noticed venereal diseases among the Hawaiian population, as way back as Captain Cook. Now, the missionaries arrived later in 1820, as I mentioned before, and there were a lot of diseases that came also. Influenza from 1845 to 49, measles 1848, smallpox. Now let me talk about the smallpox. That was 1853. One of the missionaries that came here was a Dr. Dwight Baldwin. Now the smallpox, there was a vaccine for that, and he distributed all over. And he went to Hana, he went to Lanai, Molokai. And my grandfather, Edward Bailey, helped him in that regard to distribute the vaccine, and saved a lot of people on Maui. But a lot of Hawaiians died on Oahu. and other places. So they didn't save everybody, but anyway. And then there was also leprosy, 1865 to 69, cholera, 1895, the bubonic plague, and I came and they discovered that in Chinatown. They had to burn the town down. There was 2 fires in Chinatown. Mumps, tuberculosis, and more. So those are the diseases that came. As I mentioned before, one of the missionaries that came here was Hiram Bingham, and he came with his wife Sybil, besides Dr. Dwight Baldwin. Okay. Now during that period, also the missionaries, the whalers came here around 1830. They stayed a short period, 1830 to 1860, and they mainly came here for, well, multiple reasons. One was to refuel, to get supplies on the way to go back to the northern areas and to, catch whales. And the other thing they wanted was sex from the Hawaiian women, and so they try to take advantage of the Hawaiian people as much as they possibly could. And that, as you can tell, there was a lot of conflict with the Hawaiians, and it's a good thing that the missionaries were there to counter them. They set rules and curfews and things like that, and there was a lot of otherwise that would have gone rampant, and so they were there just mainly, the whalers were there to get whatever they could from the Hawaiian people. Now there were a lot of converts among the Hawaiian people, and one of the converts was Queen Kaahumanu. And Queen Kaahumanu was the favorite wife of King Kamehameha I, Ekahi. And she was very into the Christian Protestant religion. And again, my grandfather helped her build a church on Wailuku, and it's called the Kaahumanu Church, and it's still standing today in Wailuku. And I talked to my cousin Wallet from Maui, and she said they need money, they need funds. They have services in Hawaiian, and that's really nice, that they do have that. And then the thing about Kaahumanu, she was influenced quite a lot by the missionaries, and she was very instrumental in banning the hula in public. Now that's something that I disagree with. I think the thing about hula is it came back when King Kalakaua became king. He brought the hula back, and that's why they have the Merry Monarch Festival in Hilo every year to honor the King Kalakaua, and because he brought the hula back for our people. But at that time, like I said, Queen Kaahumanu was so into the Christianity that she banned hula in public. Another convert of Christianity was Queen Liliuokalani. And when she was imprisoned at the Iolani Palace, they accused her of the rebellion in 1895, which was caused by Robert William Wilcox, and 5 others, and they were going to die. They were going to be executed, and she abdicated to save their lives. But while she was in prison, she wrote the beautiful song called the Queen's Prayer. And if you read the lyrics of that prayer, you can tell her strong. You can see her strong faith in the Christian religion. So she was very, very, she was very much into the Christian religion. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. Now, my family, as I mentioned before, my family was involved when the missionaries came over. My great-great-great-grandfather, Edward Bailey, came in 1837, and that was the ship Mary Fraser. He came with his wife, Caroline Hubbard Bailey, and they had 5 sons. Okay. Now, the oldest son, Edward Hubbard Bailey, is where I get my lineage from. Okay. Now, it just so happens that Edward Hubbard Bailey married a pure Hawaiian by the name of Emily Kania. So his children, and he had 2 daughters and a son, Mary Bailey, Ella Bailey, and William Bailey. And I'm going to show you the pictures. Mary Bailey, Ella Bailey, and William Bailey. They were the children of Edward Hubbard Bailey, and they have half Hawaiian. They're half Hawaiian, half Scottish, and you can tell that if you look at the pictures. You can tell the Hawaiian in them at that time. Now, I come from William Bailey, the son, and he had a daughter named May Bailey, and that's my grandmother, biological grandmother. So, like I said, I descended from Edward Bailey, who came from Boston, Massachusetts in 1837. And by the way, they taught at the Wailuku Female Seminary for a period of time. Now, after the missionaries came and they're pretty much, their missions were over. They got their interest turned to sugar, and my grandfather got involved with the Wailuku Sugar Company. But there's another thing I'd like to mention during that period was the Great Mahele of 1840. Now, the 1840 Constitution of the Kingdom of Hawaii established a constitutional monarchy. Now, this is during the period of King Kalakaua III. I'm sorry, King Kamehameha III. King Kamehameha III. Stand corrected. Now, it stated that the land belonged to its people and was to be managed by the king. And it established an executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the government. And the document established title property rights which maintain the lands in the hands of Hawaiian subjects to malama or nurture and sustain the land. Now, in order to protect Hawaiian lands from foreigners, and this is the whole intent of the Great Mahele, was King Kamehameha III divided the lands among all the people of Hawaii, Ali'i, Konohiki, and Maka'ainana alike. The Mahele changed the previous land system, under which a kuleana, or responsibility and obligation, to Malama Aina was given by the mo'i, or the king, to an ali'i nui, or high chief, and his subordinate ali'i and konohiki, who received taxes and tribute from the people who worked the land collectively. Private land ownership, did not exist. So that was all changed by the Great Mahele under Kamehameha III. Okay. Now the Mahele came into effect in March of 1840. Okay. Now, my grandfather was involved in that. Edward Bailey. He helped the Hawaiians settle land claims. Not many land claims were filed during that time, so it kind of didn't work in the favor of the Hawaiian people because not many were filed, and a lot of the lands ended up going to the state and the the Big Five and Hawaiian homelands. But anyway, that was what happened with the Great Mahele. So after the missionary period, pretty much sugar was the big thing, and that was important, getting land and growing sugar. Anyway, so the plantations grew, forcing Hawaiians to give up their land, At the end of the Civil War, the U.S. government helped Hawaii's sugar economy grow by offering generous import rates. But that all changed with the McKinley tariffs in 1890. And that's when the sugar plantation owners took a hit and sales fell, and that gave them incentive to annex Hawaii and nullify the tariffs. Now these people who overthrew Liliuokalani in 1893, January 17, 1893, a lot of them were descendants of these missionaries, okay? They weren't the original missionaries, they were the descendants that came here, and they were more interested in land and sugar and that kind of thing. So the whole interest changed, sadly. But anyway, that's the story of a missionary period and what they did when they came to Hawaii. My grandfather's house is called Hale Oheikeike, and it's still in Wailuku. And if you ever go there to Wailuku, Maui, just go up Iao Road. On the left-hand side, you'll see the sign. And my grandfather was also into painting, beautiful paintings of that 1800s of Maui. The landscape are on display there at the Bailey House. It's also called the Bailey House. And if you go there, please help them out with a contribution. I would appreciate that. And it's run by the Maui Historical Society, and I go there periodically and I make a donation, visit my cousins in Maui, and they're involved in the maintenance of that home. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video about the missionaries. Like I said, I'm not going to make a judgment whether it was, the impact of the missionaries are good or bad. I'm just going to tell you how it actually was. You be the decider. You can make your own judgment or conclusions. I just feel they did a lot of good for the people of Hawaii. They established a written language for the Hawaiians, okay, and a Bible in Hawaiian. But a lot of things that were not good was, like I said, banning of the hula. For also, another thing I should mention is language. The Hawaiian language was forbidden, but that came pretty much after the missionaries. The Hawaiian language was forbidden in schools, and that was not good and not right. But I just feel that the missionaries did a lot of good for the Hawaiians, and it's a good thing they came here while the whalers were here at that period of time. Anyway, I just hope you enjoyed this video. Mahalo for watching, and ahui ho.